Rewatching an anime is kind of new for me. I already know what happens within the show, so what's the point? I'd rather watch something else, something new. There are some exceptions to this, with anime examples being the OG Yu-Gi-Oh series and Dr. Stone, but specifically the first season of it. I made a poll on YouTube letting you guys decide what anime I would rewatch and review next, giving you guys 3 total choices, and you guys decided. Talentless Nana. Before I get into this review, consider subscribing since I often allow you guys to pick what type of video I post next. I originally watched Talentless Nana under the recommendation of my brother and binged it in a day. It was that enjoyable for me the first go around. I love the opening and ending songs, with the ending being my favorite. It's in my top 10 favorite ending songs. It's an absolute banger. Talentless Nana is a ridiculously underrated and fantastic show. My original rating before this rewatch was an 8.5 out of 10. Towards the end of this video, I will say whether or not my rating for it has changed. Everything in this video is based off the anime.
In fact, wanna sleep together? I could sing you a nice lullaby.
Teenagers with supernatural abilities called talents are sent to an island academy to hone their powers so that they can combat terrifying creatures named enemies of humanity. These kids, nicknamed Talented, have a wide range of powers, from pyrokinesis to healing and even necromancy. It's important to know here that some of the students don't reveal what their power is. These students know there's a possibility that there are enemies of humanity lurking on the island, so they don't want to show their whole hand. Each kid on the island has some type of power, with the exception of Nana, a brand new transfer student. Nana is a pink-haired, talkative girl who is talentless, but claims to have the ability to read minds. Talentless Nana has one of the more interesting first episodes that I've watched. It makes the viewer think that Nanao is one of the lead roles, and then throws a massive curveball. Nana is the main character of the story. She is sent to this island to kill off talented people, the true enemies of humanity. Throughout the rest of the anime, she does just that, and happily too for the most part. She must research the full extent of each talented's power and find a way to eliminate them. She ends up killing 6 different students through the anime. I'll be going through each of those students later. It's an interesting show where a murderer is seen as a hero, at least in the early stages. What she is doing is saving humanity, or so she thinks. First, let's take a closer look at the world since it's important for the story. 50 years ago, Talented started appearing in the world. There was a 5-year period of war and bloodshed between normal humans and the Talented, with humanity winning the war. Humanity recognizes the Talented's existence now, but they are often ostracized. Throughout the decades since that war, the government has been pumping out propaganda about the enemies of humanity like crazy. So much so that's within their textbooks. Since people are being taught about the enemies of humanity at a school level, they must exist, right? This is very important to note since it affects how these students think. Nobody on the island has ever seen an enemy of humanity, and nobody has a clue what one even looks like. The only descriptions people know about them are blanket terms. They look like monsters, and they can even look like humans. There's mystery around the very thing they are supposed to be worried about. Not only that, there's the potential that enemies of humanity have a variety of abilities such as invisibility and taking over a person's body. Throughout the anime, kids blindly regurgitate the information they have been spoon-fed about these enemies, sometimes making false claims about the enemy's true power. They are blindly following government propaganda because it's convenient for them. Nana even wisely uses this unknown factor as a weapon, helping her garner the trust of others. The government has created an island school designed for talented people to hone their skills so that they can fight the enemies of humanity, or so the general population thinks. In actuality, talented are the enemies of humanity, and this island is their final resting place. Agents such as Nana are sent to these islands to help kill the talented. This project is top secret. The easy way people tend to summarize Talentless Nana is that it is Death Note plus My Hero Academia plus Among Us mixed together. Let's break down why people say that. The Death Note comparison comes from the cat and mouse mind games that Nana and Kyoya have with one another, hoping that the other slips up. Passive-aggressive dialogue as well as trails of logic used are comparable to Death Note. Kyoya serves as this show's L, trying to uncover the murderer. He has a pretty good hunch that Nana is the killer, but never has definitive proof that she is. He always tries keeping Nana close by, just like L did with Light, hoping that the villain would slip up. Nana is this anime's Light, killing talented kids because she thinks it is morally right to do so. And it's her job. There's also the color-coded inner monologues that both Nana and Kyoya have, one of my favorite things within the anime. Nana is shown as red, while Kyoya blue. The My Hero Academia part of Talentless Nana are the people called Talented. Talented possess a variety of powers such as time travel, necromancy, and healing, but they also have their drawbacks. For example, the healer Michiru can heal physical injuries, but she cannot cure diseases such as cancer. Whenever she uses her power, it also shortens her lifespan. The Among Us comparison stems from Nana and the situation everyone else has on the island. Pink is sus. The students are essentially trapped on the island with no help, knowing a killer could be amongst them, most thinking it's an enemy of humanity. Throughout the anime, there's actually multiple killers on the island: Nana, Jin, and Rentaro. While the comparisons to those series are accurate, Talentless Nana is not just about those similarities. People think it's just about the stupid students being killed in a fairly basic manner, when it is about much more that is often overlooked for a variety of reasons. So what is Talentless Nana actually about? It's about good and evil, and morality, the decision between what is right and what is wrong. How many people can Nana kill before her conscience finally steps in? Nana at first doesn't even think twice about killing these talented kids. It is her job. Just like others have been brainwashed into believing the existence of the enemies of humanity, she's also been brainwashed into believing that the talented are enemies. She is told they are monsters with limitless capabilities and that they will kill hundreds of thousands of people. Since she has been told that her parents died to a talented, it's part of her personal vendetta to wipe out all that she can from the face of the earth. That's why she can kill so easily and willingly. And with Michiru's arc, Nana starts realizing that what she is doing might be wrong. Now let's look at the various characters and why each of their deaths makes sense that Nana hasn't been caught yet. If you notice, for the most part, Nana kills people on the edges of the class first, as they are easier targets, people who are looked at as outsiders and are usually alone. I'm going to go through each of the characters in the order that they die. I'm going to lump Nanao and Shibusawa into one section, as both of their deaths are introductory and shouldn't be debatable as to whether or not they were stupid. So first, Nanao. I see people complain, what's the point of having a backstory for Nanao and then pushing him off a cliff? It's probably the dumbest complaint I've ever heard. It's obviously meant to shock you. There wasn't really a point where you think, oh, he's going to be killed. People can't deal with the fact that he's not actually the main character. Nana is. Nanao gets used by Nana. He's also important for the rest of the show. People saw how close Nana was with him. It's even more glaring since he was a loner who was bullied by everyone. It's a good thing to have a positive rapport with your class, so being nice to people on the fringes goes a very long way. It makes you look like a nice person. This also keeps suspicion off of Nana much longer. Why would sweet little Nana kill somebody who she was immediately close to? Nanao is very easy to read, demonstrating Nana's fake power to read minds successfully to the class. She can now use this bluff as a weapon multiple times throughout the show. Since every student knows their powers have some type of limitations, Nana can claim that her powers come and go. Nanao isn't seen as a bad person, unlike many other classmates. He does not have an ego and is seen as a hero, saving a bunch of people from Muguo's giant fireball. Nanao never saw his death coming because he liked Nana and placed his faith in her. I think him being the first death is a big point within the show, leaving a small seed of doubt within Nana's mind. Is she doing the right thing by killing Talented? She doesn't spend much time contemplating that because of her hatred for the Talented, but this is the beginning of her moral tension. As a side note, I do believe that there's a chance that Nanao is actually still alive. Onto Shibusawa. There's not really much to say. It's another person whose death was very easy for Nana to pull off, since she's completely in control of the situation. It's probably my favorite kill within the show, having a person drown when they go back in time. Another example of Nana's ridiculous attention to detail, noticing earlier in the day that Shibusawa was complaining that he could not swim. Since the pond was frozen over, his body cannot be found for a couple of days at the minimum, buying her time. While Nanao's death left a small question of morality, Shibusawa's didn't. Now, why is that the case? Shibusawa, in the little we see of him, is shown as very arrogant, claiming that he is the only champion of justice in the world. He is pride, arrogance, and self-entitlement personified, wiping away any doubts whether what she is doing is wrong. Many other characters share the same arrogance throughout the anime. Next up, Tsunekichi, probably one of the two characters who people will complain about the most. He dies via poison, which is impossible to trace without an autopsy. Tsunekichi is fatalistic. He claims that the pictures he takes will always happen. This makes him passive and uncaring, since he's tried altering fate before. If you pay attention, he's an outsider within the class. Even Kyoya, who's socially awkward himself, picks up on the fact that Tsunekichi is weird. Tsunekichi goes around claiming Nana is dating him to the disbelief of everyone. People legitimately don't like him, and the viewer sees why. He's lazy, demanding, and a scumbag. His death is probably the most satisfying of the group because of the type of person he is. He's the first casualty who actually has photographic proof of Nana killing Nanao, and possibly also killing him. I say possibly since she doesn't actually kill Tsunekichi by strangling him, like it's shown in the picture. So now, why doesn't he just provide the evidence to the class? Boom, story over. There's a couple of problems that can arise from that. One, who's going to believe him, even with the picture? He doesn't have friends and everyone on the island thinks he's scum. Since people don't like him, it's the word of Nana versus the word of Tsunekichi. Who are you going to believe, sweet little Nana or scumbag Tsunekichi who forced Nana to be his girlfriend and does awful things with her? 2. Every talented on the island has some type of drawback with their power. Tsunekichi's could be that he's not always correct. Just because he's told people his power does not mean he'll tell them his weakness. And would people believe him if he did? And finally, 3. An interpretation of how Tsunekichi's power might actually work. The pictures of Nana's killings only exist because Tsunekichi's power actually shows the future. Since the future is predetermined according to him, then showing those pictures off is not part of the future. You only get a snippet of the future with his pictures, not everything that happens in between. No matter how hard you try, the fate shown within those pictures cannot change. So, if Tsunekichi shows everyone the Nanao killing, what do you think will happen? The class will either kill Nana or restrain her. Since she is powerless, she's not escaping, meaning she can never try killing Tsunekichi in that PE shed. It is fate that she doesn't get caught. I don't want to get into a huge debate regarding determinism, so I'm going to leave it at that. As for Michiru's gullibility for literally seeing the proof, again, there's the possibility that those photos are wrong. She is far too nice and should be at least worried that Nana is actually a killer, but up to that point, they still think Nanao and Shibusawa are just missing, not dead. So for them, this is the first death on the island. Viewers obviously know that others are dead, not the class. Going back to the idea of proof, the only picture Kyoya has seen is the one where Nana is half naked, the one she took of herself, which leads him to run to the PE shed to potentially rescue her. He never sees the one of Nanao's death, and is afraid to see risque photos that Nana claims Tsunekichi took of her. Nana then obviously gets rid of all of the evidence. Nana claims that Tsunekichi dies of natural causes, which is plausible since there are no visible marks stating otherwise. Remember, there's a healer in Michiru there who could have saved Tsunekichi if he didn't die from something like natural causes or a disease. Who knows, it also could be an enemy of humanity since it's such a convenient way to answer tough questions. Yuuka, the self-proclaimed super strength talent when her power is actually necromancy, is up next. Yuuka is poisoned by Nana and her body is thrown off a cliff. She's a mental case, a psychopathic stalker who killed the very person she loved, Shinji. She's not right in the head, so much so that her personality splits. One part is how she actually is, and the other is Shinji, or at least how she envisions and wants him to be. People complain about Yuuka letting Nana go when she has an Avenger in her room. Nana just preys on a weak, sick-minded individual. It's classic emotional manipulation on a hopeless romantic. Yuuka had no intention of killing Nana. She was willing to oust Nana's true nature, however. Yuuka couldn't do that though because then Nana tells everyone that Shinji is actually dead. It turns into one person's word against another's, and people are going to side with the more popular Nana. Yuuka also thinks she is in complete control of the situation since she has both Shinji and all of the undead with her. It goes back to the characters being extremely egotistical. While Nana was trying to kill Yuuka, some of the history of the island was uncovered, and then even more is later with the introduction of Jin. The next casualty grouping is Habu, Kaori, and Ryuuji. First, Habu and Kaori, the feuding friends. Nana just stumbled across Habu in the woods and poisoned her. I think dying from the very thing your power is funny. Every talented has some type of drawback, that just happens to be hers. Kaori dies from poison when putting in her eye contacts. She's the first person who has knowingly been killed and her body was seen by everyone. Nanao, Shibusawa, and Yuuka's bodies disappeared. Tsunekichi died from what was claimed to be natural causes. Seeing actual evidence of a fellow student dead from a killer scares the rest of the class, making most of them hide in their dorms. Kaori's death provides Nana with some breathing room. There was no evidence she did it since Kyoya was watching her the whole time while it happened. Ryuuji actually dies from a second killer on the island, another talented named Rentaro, whose ability is spectral projection. It's a great ability to use to kill others. Nana had a solid alibi with Michiru watching over her while she sleeps when the murder occurred. This further throws off Kyoya since he thought other deaths prior were Nana. Detective Kyoya now has a cold trail. Michiru is the final victim targeted by Rentaro and dies saving Nana. Michiru is the most important character within the series thus far. She is the sweet, kind girl who doesn't mind getting hurt just so long as others are healed. Early on, she's seen being bullied on multiple occasions by Habu and Kaori. Despite that, she tries her best to heal and resurrect Kaori. Michiru looks at the positive within people and to a fault. This is shown when she blindly believes in Nana even with photographic evidence. Because of Michiru's kindness, Nana starts to slowly question why she's been told to kill these people. Michiru even worries about Nana, who's been blaming herself for her parents' death. Michiru has spent a large amount of time trying to cheer Nana up, and even provides her with valid reasoning that Nana might not actually be at fault for her parents' death. How can somebody so nice kill so many people? Estimating her kill count at 150,000 people. This thought is at the forefront of Nana's mind at the end of the anime, since Michiru sacrifices herself to save Nana. Now let's talk about a couple more things people dislike about Talentless Nana. The idea of proof. You need proof in order to claim Nana is the killer. Obviously, you as a viewer easily know who the killer is. For Nanao and Shibusawa, the only proof is her hanging around them. She's even around Tsunekichi, so in total she was definitely around 3 different people when they disappeared or died. She talks with everybody, essentially uniting the class together. Of course she's going to be around people. It's the reason she became class leader, because so many people liked her since she's available to them. Simply being around a person is proof, but it's a weak argument by itself. Yes, some suspicion should be placed on Nana, but it's minuscule. Tsunekichi is the only person with undeniable proof, but who's going to believe him? The only other person that has seen proof is Michiru, and she is far too gullible and trusting. Habu and Kaori are killed when nobody else is around. Kaori dies when Kyoya is around Nana, alleviating suspicion a bit, especially since Kyoya did not have concrete evidence when others were around, ruining his credibility. People like to bring up the fact that everyone on the island except Nana and Kyoya are extremely stupid and constantly make stupid decisions. A decent amount of it can be attributed to the belief in the enemies of humanity propaganda that I went over earlier. Yes, I agree they are sometimes stupid, but the stupidity is intentional and stems from a deep ignorance. People believe what they want to believe and hear what they want to hear. The world is indoctrinated into believing these enemies of humanity exist. It's easy to blame any suspicious attacks on them. At the same time, most talented within the show are extremely arrogant. Many have the idea that I'm talented, so I'm better than you. This arrogance affects their thought pattern and reasoning since they only care about themselves. Mobuo and Saya, the Fire and Ice Power Boys, are a pretty good example of this. They have faith that their powers will overwhelm anybody that gets in their way, ensuring an easy victory. That's one of the reasons why the characters are too trusting, thinking they can get out of any situation with their talents. Think of it as a trump card. All of this stems from entitlement. It's a huge reason why it makes sense for them to be eliminated. Most of the characters only care about themselves. They are so entitled and spoiled, they do not care that there's a killer on the loose. Kyoya does have a reason to be smart. He's on his own mission, looking for his sister. He's going to be highly vigilant since he's looking for clues as to what happened to her, and perhaps the killings are tied to that. Really quick, I want to point out some stuff that I loved about Talentless Nana. I already said earlier, but the color-coded inner monologues for the various characters, specifically Kyoya and Nana, were fantastic. I watched Talentless Nana dubbed, and I think Nana's voice actress did a great job, specifically with the changes of tone within her voice. Nana used a different voice when talking with others than she did with her inner monologues, aka the true Nana. Her inner monologue voice did a great job showing off how dark and evil the anime actually is. And finally, Kyoya was my favorite character. His socially awkward comments were fantastic and provided some relief in an anime usually filled with tension. The future of Talentless Nana is filled with tons of different plot points that need answers. What happens when Nana's boss shows up? She clearly respects him, but there was visible fear shown when she got a phone call from him in the final episode. Will Nana continue killing, or will she change? What happened to Kyoya's sister? Will there be a happy ending where he finds her actually? Jin is an unknown variable. What is he going to do? So earlier I said that my original rating of Talentless Nana was an 8.5 out of 10. Now for the all-important question, has my rating changed after rewatching it? For me, Talentless Nana remains at an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.